So is getting your real estate license still worth it in 2025? If you've been researching this topic, you've come across a lot of strong opinions, like commissions are down, or buyer's agents are dead, or it's a terrible market to be an agent, or even real estate agents will soon become completely irrelevant. Now, hear me out for a second. I'm going to share something with you that has been very powerful for me in my business career, which is potentially nothing is holding you back more than what you think you know about something. Again, nothing is holding you back more in life, whether it's your business life or personal life, than what you think you know. So I just pulled this book off my shelf. It's called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. I highly recommend it, but she has a really powerful premise of this book, and it's about the thoughts that come up in our head each day and really questioning whether or not those thoughts are true. And those could be thoughts that came out of your mind, or they could be opinions shared by people in your life. But she has a very simple 4-step process that I would really encourage you to incorporate into your life when you're making big life decisions. So whenever you find yourself to have a thought or opinion, or hear someone else's opinion about something like real estate, you can ask yourself the following. Number 1, is it true? Number 2, can I absolutely know it's true? Number 3, how do I react? What happens when I believe those thoughts? And number 4, who or what would I be without those thoughts? So for example, you tell your friend that you're considering getting your real estate license in 2025, and they tell you, hey, didn't you hear about the lawsuit last year? Buyer's agents' commissions are gone. You're not getting paid any commissions if you're representing buyers anymore. That's a pretty scary thing, and certainly that would give me pause if I was considering getting my license, but is that really true? I can only speak for myself. It has not been true. In fact, on average, my commissions have gone up per transaction, and that is really legitimately true. I'm not just saying that. My average commission has gone up for a very simple reason. The changes in the law due to the recent lawsuit have forced me to insist upon a higher rate than I did previously. I have to have more candid conversations, and I have less avenues to navigate the commission payment process, which has forced my hand in having a candid conversation with potential clients, and I am getting a higher average percentage than I previously did before the lawsuit. And I've heard these results from many other agents as well. So yes, there was a lawsuit. Yes, the laws around commissions did change in how you disclose them. But to say that the buyer's agent commission is completely gone is just patently false. And you can apply this 4-step process to anything that comes up for you. So what I want you to take away from this video more than anything, and we are going to dive into how to decide if you should pursue your license or not, is when you hear some piece of information or an opinion, or you have some limiting belief, question it. Is it really true? Are you sure? And think about how that opinion, whether it's from your own mind or someone else's, affect the decisions that you make and how you approach something. This could potentially alter the entire course of your life based on a piece of information that is not actually true. So I really just wanted to start off the video with that, because everyone's got a freaking opinion about real estate and real estate agents, and they are often opposed to one another, conflicting opinions, and they're often complete BS. So just do yourself a favor in life and really investigate whether or not something someone says is true, and pay attention to how it impacts the decisions that you make and how freeing it would be to let go of something. Think of how you would pursue getting a license if you didn't have any of those negative comments floating around in your mind, right? You would probably be a little bit more gung-ho about it, and you would probably go for it without second guessing yourself. So I really wanted to start off with that simple filter for a lot of these questions that come up around this topic. Now, that being said, I am going to share a fact with you about being a real estate agent. And this is a fact, okay? And I think it's a fact that you should consider way more so than any of the other opinions that people have about real estate sales right now. And that is, there are 100%, indisputably, without a doubt, agents crushing it in real estate. There are absolutely many agents who are active right now that are making lots and lots of money, and more money than they did last year when the laws were different. So that is a fact. And I think that's really one of the main things you need to know when making this decision. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's boil this whole process down to two very simple questions that you need to consider if you're going to pursue your real estate license in 2025. And there's a lot of stuff we could cover. I've gone through the pros and cons of being a realtor or not, but I am really going to boil this down to, the serious meat and potatoes. Not even the potatoes, just the meat. Because at the end of the day, there's so much fluff in this industry. There is so much busy white noise fluff around real estate and this industry, both when you're on the periphery and when you're right in the thick of it. So really the only two questions you need to ask yourself when trying to make this decision are, what does the day-to-day look like of a successful realtor? Because we want to operate on the assumption you will be successful. And number two, do I have what it takes to walk out to execute the actions needed for success? So what does it look like to be a successful realtor in terms of the day-to-day? And do I have the makeup, the ability to take the actions that make realtors successful? And those are the only two decisions that you need to ask yourself. And there's no harm in saying no, right? And the first one is so powerful because so many people ask me about getting into real estate or other careers. And one thing that I notice is that for some reason they don't consider what the day-to-day looks like of those careers. And I'll give you the most common example, right? Agents reach out to me saying, should I be a broker? Or I want to open my own brokerage. I want to be a broker owner. I don't just want to be a real estate agent. And I've said this before, I understand why people say that. It's very logical to want to own everything. It's very logical to want to be the boss and not to have a broker that you're hanging your license at. So I get that. However, what most people exclude when they ask this question is, what is it like to be a broker? What does the day-to-day look like? If you are going to be in the weeds in this career or another, whether you're pursuing computer science or being an architect or being a garbage man, you need to know, what does your day-to-day look like so that you can reasonably question and decide whether or not you're going to be happy doing that. So we need to talk about, what does the life of a successful realtor look like? And we're going to talk about successful realtors, okay? This is not the life of an average realtor. The life of an average realtor is a day filled with a bunch of fluff that does not move the needle. But we're gonna focus on the realtors who are really making money, because I'm gonna assume that's who you wanna be. What does their day-to-day look like? Now, I need you to understand, real estate sales is an open test. It's an open playbook. All of the most successful agents are all doing the same thing. They don't all serve the same type of client, but they're all taking similar actions. And that's a beautiful thing. There is no mystery in real estate. So this really just comes down to, here's the playbook, is that appealing to you, and can you execute? So, what does the day-to-day of a really successful agent look like? It's very simple. I've broken it down into 4 simple things. And we're gonna keep this broad to not get in the details, but at the end of the day, the life of a successful realtor looks like time blocking the following: lead generation, lead follow-up, servicing clients, and working on your business. And you can play around with how many hours are allocated each day, but you will not show me a consistently high-performing agent who does not do all 4 of those each day. So you need to ask yourself, does that interest me? Am I interested in doing lead gen, lead follow-up, servicing clients, and creating systems each day by working on the business, okay? And we're gonna talk more about those 4 components in the next question, but I just want you to understand that the practical work is all in those 4 buckets. There's a lot of other work, but it's busy work, it's fluff work, it's work you can delegate. So keep those 4 in mind, and I've just got some really simple dichotomies in real estate that are very true. So number 1, you don't have to work, but you're gonna be working your ass off, right? If I wanna sleep till 11 a.m. on Monday, no one is gonna stop me from doing that because no one cares what I'm doing except for myself. However, I'm waking up early on Monday because I wanna succeed, right? I don't have to host open houses on the weekend or take clients out for tours, but I'm going to because I wanna make money. So the dichotomy is you don't have to ever work, but as a real estate agent, you will be working your ass off. Number 2, you cannot get fired, and so you do not have any of that anxiety, but you don't have any consistent pay or benefits or anything else that would appeal to you about a salaried job, right? Whether that's your 401k, your pension, your health care, you don't have any of it in real estate, but you also can't get fired. You're not dealing with having a shitty boss. You're not dealing with the anxiety about, the company being sold or you being laid off, right? I used to have that anxiety all the time. So you've got the security of not being able to be fired, but you're also on your own when it comes to your benefits package. Number 3, there's no limit to your income whatsoever, okay? Say goodbye to the days of working your butt off, hoping for a 2.5% yearly bump, right? However, on the flip side, there's no basement to your income. You could go months with no income at all, and there's no one there to save you. So again, this is all meant to get to the core of who you are as a person. For myself, this is perfect. I love the idea that there's no limit to the amount of money I can make. If I work my ass off, I can close 20, 30, 50, 60 deals, right? Or I don't have to. But you do need to be aware no one is gonna hand this to you. And if you don't take the right action consistently, you're not gonna have any paychecks, ever. And that's why a lot of people quit. Okay, so I think it's very important to understand that piece of being an entrepreneur. Number 4, you can work independently, meaning you don't have to deal with all the BS that goes along with working in groups and psychotic coworkers. You can really be your own boss. This is a great job for an introvert. This is a great job for a type A personality, someone who needs to be in control. However, you will be interacting both with clients and other agents. And the other agents in particular can be very stressful and difficult to work with. So although this is a job where you have way more control over your environment and who you work with, especially if you're just starting out, you're gonna wanna take on all clients, and you are going to be dealing with agents that are sometimes unprofessional or just flat out psychotic. So you do need to keep that in mind. And number 5, you need to just keep in mind, this is in no way a side hustle. I know that's a very common question for agents, and I've made a whole video about this before, and what I'll say is that there are scenarios where this could work as a side hustle, but those are very unique, specific scenarios. One scenario would be that your dad is a builder, right? Or your mom is a builder and they're building a whole community and they want you to sell all the homes in the community, right? Well, that's great, right? I guess, a little bit of nepotism involved there, but I mean, go for it. I would, right? If you have someone in your family who is in this industry, whether they're a contractor or they're a broker or they're a lender, if you have some pipeline to consistent business that does not require you to do the things you would typically have to do to be successful, then maybe it could work as a side hustle, as a side gig. But even then, you're probably not going to be doing your clients the justice that they deserve, the service that they deserve. So I really just typically tell people this is not a side hustle at all. The failure rate in this industry is extremely high. So the idea that you are gonna keep your full-time job and in your spare hours achieve success in something that has an extremely high failure rate is just illogical, to be honest with you. And in fact, what I usually tell people is that this is 2 full-time jobs, and that really is true because you have 1 full-time job of lead generation, which is going to bring clients that you can work with. And then once you have the clients, you have to do the full-time job of providing service to them. You have to work as their buyer's agent to help them purchase a home, or you have to work as a listing agent to help them sell their home. So this is not a side hustle, it's 2 full-time jobs. So now that we've discussed what your day-to-day looks like as a successful agent, let's go back into what is required. What are the day-to-day actions that you will need to execute to make sure that you are successful? And I already mentioned the 4, but we're going to go into a little bit more detail. Again, what is required is lead generation, lead follow-up, servicing the client, and working on your business, AKA creating systems and routines that can be repeated so that eventually you can delegate and hire and step away and not be into the day-to-day operations. So you need to ask yourself when you're making this decision, in addition to does the day-to-day sound appealing, do I have what it takes to execute on these actions every day consistently, regardless of how I'm feeling, and for a long period of time without seeing immediate results? So lead generation, we talk about this all the time. Luckily, there are only so many ways in sales that you can generate leads. So research them, become familiar with them. Alex Hormozy is a fantastic resource on breaking down all those avenues. There are only so many ways to generate leads in real estate. So you need to have all of those ways in front of you. For example, open houses, cold calling FSBOs and expireds, generating referrals from your friends and family, creating social media content. There are a few others, okay? But you need to really have an honest conversation with yourself about, can I do one of these every day for 8 months before I see results, okay? If you can, congrats, you're gonna make a lot of money. But don't get into this job thinking that someone's gonna tell you what to do, or you can just clack away at your computer creating an email signature and your phone's gonna start to ring. This is a sales position, and you need to understand how salespeople generate leads, and you need to be prepared to take action. So if you don't like to cold call, that's fine, but you better make some content, right? If you don't want to talk to your family, that's fine, but you better be hosting open houses every weekend. So it doesn't have to be a certain method, but you have to pick one and say to yourself, yes, I can do this every day for 8 months consistently without seeing results. Number 2, lead follow-up, right? Part of lead generation is following up on people you've already spoken with. This really requires a discipline and systems and having a CRM in place. You have to keep meticulous records. So if any of this sounds awful to you or something that you're not able to achieve, well, great. We're getting closer to deciding if you should get your license in 2025 or not. But lead follow-up is going to look like not only following up on people who've reached out to you or that you've connected with that you don't know, but also reaching out to past clients. Once you have a few clients, you're gonna wanna get referrals from them. You have friends and family, you're gonna wanna get referrals for them. You're gonna have to foster relationships. You're going to have to talk to people, okay? I said it was a good job for introverts, and it is because of how you can control the environment, but don't be mistaken. You're in sales. You will need to talk to people every day, multiple times a day. Number 3, you're gonna have to service the client, right? And to me, this is a very easy, non-stressful part of the job, but you're gonna have to help. If you're a buyer focused, you're gonna have to help someone purchase a home, and you're gonna have to be a great buyer's agent and have systems and processes to deliver a great service experience for them. If you're focused on listings, you're gonna have to have a great listing routine, all the resources that you would need to sell a home for a lot of money really quickly. But once you successfully generate leads, you've got to actually service the clients in order to get the paycheck. So make sure you understand what it looks like to be a listing agent or to be a buyer's agent. What does the practicality look like? You know, do you dread driving around in your car? You probably don't want to be a real estate agent, right? Do you dread like checklists and planning and routines and interacting with people and coming up with a plan? You probably don't want to get into this industry. And number 4, you got to work on your business. Now, This is more for when you already have some success. If you want to take it to the level where you can step out eventually. Honestly, there are a lot of agents who do the first 3 and they just stay a solo agent their whole career. They don't create systems. They make a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of time flexibility. It's going to be very difficult for those people to take a vacation, and it's going to be very difficult for them to ever sell their business because they have not created the infrastructure to sell to someone. They probably don't have the records or the routines or the standard operating procedures that you would need when you go to sell the business. So once you consistently execute on the first 3 items that I mentioned, you're going to reach a phase of your career where you have to time block your schedule to work on your business, to create processes and routines that are repeatable so that you can hire someone and delegate some of these things and eventually step away partially at first and then fully out of your business, right? This is when you see big teams in work. This is where you have buyer's agents and listing agents that are under you, and you focus on the higher level activities, usually still lead generation. And then at some point you can even delegate and create repeatable routines for lead generation that you do not have to be a part of. So that is what's required. And if any of that sounded boring or uneventful or just awful to you, you probably should not get your real estate license in 2025, okay? Again, you are not going to be an employee any longer. If you're looking to, and I'm not judging because it's hard to know what you're getting into before you get into it, but a lot of people get into this, they get their license and they think they're going to walk into their brokerage and sit down and their broker is going to come over and say, here's the clients you'll be working with today. Here's how you best service them. And here's how you make money. And that just could not be furthest from the truth. You're going to walk into your brokerage and probably no one's going to acknowledge your existence. In fact, the brokerage is probably going to be empty, right? Because most of these brokerages are, at least, you know, when I was at had a brick and mortar brokerage, the office was generally pretty empty. You're on your own. You are on your own. Okay, you're not an employee. The broker, once you hung your license there, they got you. You're a statistic. They want to bring in as many people as possible to increase the likelihood that one of you will be a rock star and make them a lot of money. They're not going to call you up if you're not in the office in the morning. They're not going to call you up if they don't see you for 6 months. No one's going to reach out and tell you, here's how to be a great real estate agent. No one's going to hold your hand whatsoever. So you just need to understand that. You know, this busy work, I talk a lot about this, of creating a website and your little logo and your email signature. Those are all pieces of business that have their place, but they are not what is going to move the needle forward. You need to really ask yourself, do I have what it takes to lead generate every day? How am I going to lead generate? What am I going to do? Am I going to cold call? Am I going to create content? Do I have what it takes to become a student of the game in social media and create great content? Do I have what it takes to be a student of the cold calling game, right? Can I become the Wolf of Wall Street and make those calls every day with people telling me to go die? With people like so aggravated that you called them early in the morning, because you do need to call early in the morning to beat out all the other agents. Do you have what it takes to schedule and execute an open house Saturday and Sunday, and maybe even during the week, every week? You know, finding the home in the neighborhood you're focused on that's a great listing, getting the balloons and the cookies and the sign-up sheet, you know, knocking on doors the Friday before to invite people. Okay, so whatever lead generation strategy you think you could do, you really need to dive in and make sure you can execute day to day on those tasks. And if you don't think you can, you should probably pursue another career. So, a lot of talking as usual, more talking than I probably should, but if you take nothing else away from this video, is it really true, right? Whatever you heard about getting your license, about how real estate agents are a dying profession and how we're all gonna be broken out of work in the next few years, you do know that people have been saying that every year for the last 15 years probably, right? Every year they've been saying that. So is it really true? There was a big lawsuit, right? Buyer's agents are dead. Are you sure? And you can apply this to, you know, outside of real estate, right? Again, whatever career you're pursuing, whatever endeavor in life you want to do, I would just encourage you to ask yourself, whenever you have some thought that is making you feel discouraged, especially, do I really know that that's true? And how is that impacting the decisions I'm making? And then next, listen, real estate is an open book. Successful agents are all doing the same thing. Does the day-to-day of the career I'm looking at appeal to me? And do I have the composition and makeup to execute on the tasks that all successful agents do every day? Can I be a salesperson? Can I put myself out there? Can I become a student of the game for whatever lead generation lane I'm looking at? Hopefully that helps you make this decision. I still think this is one of the greatest professions in the country, and I'm not exaggerating. I can't think of another profession where you can get licensed inside of 2 weeks and make multiple six figures in your first year. Now that is not the norm, but you can certainly do it, and I know people who have. Without a college degree, without any debt, you can make a lot of money very quickly in this industry if you do the things that we talked about before. So really hope that helped. Hope you feel encouraged, and I hope you're just honest with yourself about who you are and if this is a good fit for you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below on a topic you want to see, and I'll see you next time.